Hello mga ka-e-learners! Are you a buffet fanatic or you are one of those who prefer the a la carte menu to be served on your table? Buffets are now regaining their popularity after the pandemic era. Na-miss natin ang mga buffet restaurants. But after the pandemic, the buffets are back and so are the hazards. So let us admit na marami pa ding risks sa food safety ang mga buffet services. Lalo na kung hindi sila nagko-comply sa food safety and hygiene standards. One of the biggest challenges in buffet services is maintaining the food quality and food safety. Lahat ng food items ay exposed sila to different temperatures, contaminants, and handling issues. Most of the buffet services now are offering the a la minute cooking or the action station cooking, wherein they will cook upon your request. And this is a much better option. Buffet services can be a food safety challenge, with many things that could go wrong, from time and temperature abuse, to cross-contamination, spoilages, and other harmful bacteria that will lead to foodborne illnesses. Hello! Magandang araw mga ka-e-learners! Ako si Miss E, ang inyong F&B specialist. I talk about food and beverage management. This channel is dedicated to all the hotel and restaurant management students, restaurant owners, food and beverage employees in the hospitality industry. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe so I can make more videos like these. My topics are based on my first-hand experiences in hotels, resorts, casinos, membership clubs, beach club, golf, and country club. Batay sa sarili kong karanasan bilang corporate F&B executive, F&B director, trainer, mentor, consultant, and pre-opening expert. I develop policies and procedures for F&B operations, food safety and hygiene, F&B sustainability, F&B cost control, and pre-opening templates and guidelines. I create tailored workshops and training solutions with coaching and mentoring. I want you to be empowered at magkaroon ng kaalaman sa pasikot-sikot sa food and beverage management. If that sounds good to you, then please give me a big thumbs up and let's go! Mga ka-e-learners, if you have not subscribed yet, I would love to have you here in my channel as a subscriber, and rest assured that all my topics are based on the real-life scenarios in the F&B industry. Kindly hit the notification bell so you will be notified of my new videos. Thank you mga ka-e-learners! So what is foodborne illnesses or FBI? These are the illnesses caused by consumption of spoiled or contaminated food items. Ito yung mga sakit na nakukuha natin pag nakakain tayo ng mga sira or contaminated na pagkain. Most of the restaurants now are strictly following food safety standards and practices because this is in compliance with the Food Safety Act of 2013 na kung saan ang lahat ng restaurants at food establishments ay required na magkaroon ng Hygiene Manager or Hygiene Officer or FSCO, Food Safety Compliance Officer. At dito nila monitor ang compliances and non-compliances pagdating sa food safety and hygiene operating procedures in food handling from preparation to disposal. So in response to the requests and comments from our wonderful subscribers, let us talk about food safety. Let us go into the preventive measures to avoid foodborne illnesses in buffet services. Number 1, pay strict attention to details. Approved minimum standards must strictly be followed in setting up the buffet spread. Cleanliness, food safety, and attractive visual elements are all top priorities throughout the whole duration of the buffet service. The F&B manager or the supervisor or the chef must check the buffet stations every 15 minutes. Elaborate the main ingredients in the food tags. If a food contains a common allergen such as peanuts, it would be a good idea to add a warning label as well, such as contains peanuts, to prevent allergen cross-contact. This allows guests to know what the dish is before they put it on their plate for health safety reasons, and will also help eliminate a lot of uneaten and thrown away food. All buffet accessories should be food safety and hygiene compliant to avoid cross-contamination with food. For example, avoid putting up plants with soil as centerpieces. Be extra careful in serving and washing raw and ready-to-eat items which do not require further cooking. Greens like lettuce, spinach, which are sometimes contaminated with E. coli, sushi, tuna, and raw oysters are also risky. Closely monitor any buffet section where the guests are plating their food. This is to ensure that there are no food safety issues. For example, ice cream station, dessert stations where they make their own desserts. You cannot control what your guests will do, which is why you should keep an eye on the self-service area. If you see someone using same utensil for multiple different food, you need to supply a new clean and sanitized utensils for each item. Assign at least one senior staff member to supervise the buffet, and train them on the steps to take if they notice a possible contamination incident. Do not top up newly prepared refill to an existing and almost empty food pan or serving dish. Instead, remove existing dishes or pans and replace with the new and freshly filled ones. The existing or almost empty food pan may have already been possibly contaminated. And number 2, keep food out of the temperature danger zone. Temperature danger zone is the range of temperatures between 4 degrees centigrade to 60 degrees centigrade or 40 degrees Fahrenheit to 140 degrees Fahrenheit. Bacteria multiply rapidly in this temperature range and can cause illnesses. High-risk, potentially hazardous food are meat, poultry, fish, shellfish, eggs, egg products, dairy and dairy products, and leafy greens. Hot food is held at a minimum of 57 degrees centigrade or 135 degrees Fahrenheit. Cold food is kept at temperature no higher than 41 degrees Fahrenheit or 5 degrees centigrade. Discard food that has been on display at room temperature for 2 hours or longer. Display all food in small batches that can be used within the 2-hour time frame. And number 3, strictly set up one serving utensil per dish. It is very crucial to use the required utensils for the dishes that these are designated for. Do not switch serving utensils at the buffet to prevent cross-contamination between food, especially raw and ready-to-eat food. It may happen when the same utensil is used to pick up raw food such as sushi or sashimi and then used for other items such as bread or crackers. Do not use the same serving utensils from one dish to another. Harmful pathogens can transfer between food, and to prevent allergen cross-contact, the protein from the allergens can transfer between them. Remove any food item which came in contact with handles of the utensils. Multiple guests are all helping themselves with the same serving utensils and dishes, and this exposes you to germs and illnesses and poor hygiene habits. Should the serving utensils fall into the food pans, pull out the contaminated food item and replace with a new batch. And moving on to the 4th preventive measure, encourage diners not to reuse their plates. Make them use clean plates and utensils each time they take a second or third trip to the buffet. Guests should be encouraged to use clean plates, cutlery, and napkins when they revisit the buffet for refills. And this is to prevent cross-contamination from germs on their used plates to the serving utensils. So waiters must give extra attention in clearing and bussing out used plates on the table. Children serving themselves should also be supervised. The manager or the supervisor must ensure that children are always supervised by an adult in the buffet line. If an adult is not on site, the manager or the supervisor must train waiters to assist and be attentive to children in the buffet station. And now we move on to number 5. Manage your buffet leftovers. Leftover food at the buffet which were displayed for more than 2 hours must be discarded immediately and must not be recycled or repurposed. Cooked food in hot holding cabinets which were not served can be repurposed after being cooled down rapidly and immediately stored in the chiller, but secondary shelf life must be followed accordingly. Always follow the 2-hour and the 4-hour rules. Hot food in chafing warmers, maximum of 2 hours. Cold food in refrigerated units, maximum of 4 hours. Leftovers intended to be reused must comply with the rules of time and temperature exposure. Highly perishable items with short secondary shelf life should not be repurposed. Examples are cooked vegetables, dairies, and raw fish or meat. Acceptable leftover items should be properly cooled down, preferably in blast freezer or ice bath, and may be vacuum packed. And now let's move on to number 6. Check food temperatures frequently. Check all food temperatures every 2 hours. Use clean and sanitized calibrated thermometer for items being held in the hot or cold food zones. Using food thermometer is the only way to ensure the safety of meat, poultry, seafood, egg, and egg products. They must be cooked to a safe minimum internal temperature. The chef in charge and the manager or the supervisor must keep close monitoring of time and temperature control. And number 7, prevent time abuse. Remember the 2-hour rule. Discard any perishables left out at room temperature for more than 2 hours. Strictly monitor the amount of replenishment for the last 1 hour of the buffet service. But empty dishes are not acceptable. Strictly observe the 3-hour rule for salads and dressings, because these are potentially hazardous food items. Food at the buffet line must be displayed for a maximum of 4 hours only. Do not display food too early and follow food safety rules for indoor and outdoor buffet setup. For indoor setup, all food has to be completed at least 30 minutes before the specified meal time, with the exemption for highly heat-sensitive items. For outdoor setup, all food has to be completed at least 20 minutes before the specified meal time, with exemption for highly heat-sensitive items. And preventive measure number 8, replace serving utensils timely. The buffet person has to strictly monitor and ensure that all serving utensils are in place to avoid cross-contamination. If someone has an allergy to a food item that winds up in another dish, that person may become very sick. Have at least one clean and sanitized serving utensil on standby for every food item. Replace serving utensils and underliners immediately. As soon as these accumulate food buildup and become messy, the buffet person needs to have a stack of clean and sanitized serving utensils for immediate replacement. Replace before removing the soiled ones. Do not remove the utensils to be replaced unless the clean ones are available. And so mga ka-e-learners, with all the preventive measures being discussed, let us all be very vigilant and very cautious once we are at the buffet lines, to prevent our employees, to prevent our guests, and all our stakeholders from getting sick and prevent them from foodborne illnesses. And that's it for today's video mga ka-e-learners. Thank you and see you on my next one. Keep watching, keep on learning, and happy eating! Bye!